Fam, let me show you 2021's most underrated release. And by the way, it's by Bulova. YouTube, what is good? Welcome back to Timeless Sneakers and Watches. Fam, we have a good one today. Today we have the Bulova MILSHIP Standard Edition. Now, before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to Mimo over at Mimo's Jewelry for making this possible. Mimo, thank you so much for lending in this beautiful MILSHIP in for review. Fam, for watching. In the description down below, there's a little surprise for you guys. You guys will get a great deal and free shipping in the US. So, check out the link down below to Mimo's Jewelry. Now fam, let me tell you, this watch, it's such a crazy looking piece. And I'll be honest, when I saw it in pictures, I was a little torn. I didn't know how to feel. I like the aesthetic, the vintage aesthetics, right? Definitely gave me that 50 Fathom vibes. I think what sets it apart is definitely all the quirky aspects of the watch. And even from a dimension standpoint, I mean, if you guys see this right off the bat, you guys are like, wow, this is a little different, right? I mean, we're looking at a 41 millimeter case. And I think what throws everyone off is that 16 millimeter lug width. And then look at the thickness of this piece, right? Now, granted, a lot of that comes from this crazy domed sapphire crystal you guys see here. But overall, I think it's just a great piece. You do get 200 meters of water resistant. Now, you do get a Miyota 8 series that hacks and winds. So Bulova did make some tweaks to it so it allows you to hack and hand wind, which is great. Gives you about 42 hours of power reserve. And from lug to lug, it's about 50 millimeters, give or take. This watch is based off a prototype that was made back in the 1950s, about 1957 to be exact. And this was never commercially launched, making 2021 the first time we are lucky enough to see this piece in hand. Nice. And personally, after spending some time with it, I loved it. Now, this piece was developed for the US Navy back in the 50s, and unfortunately it never made the day of light until now. And it's kind of cool, right? It's kind of cool that Bulova has taken the step, right? Now, this is part of their archive series, and we all know Bulova has tons of history and heritage, and it's so cool to see them dig into that bag and pull out designs that we've never seen. This one here, you're either gonna love or you're gonna hate. There's obviously a standard issue, which is the one you're seeing here, and there is a limited edition. Now, the differences really between the two is gonna be minor things. Things like the strap, the bezel insert is a little different. The standard issue is not loomed versus the limited edition, which is a loomed insert bezel. There's a slight difference in thickness with the watches, and I think that has to do with the movement they've given you in the two options. The case back etching is a little bit more pronounced on the limited edition versus the one you see here, which by the way is still a beautiful case back. The dial on the limited edition, you'll notice it will say Swiss made versus the one you see here. There's no Japan made or Swiss made. It's just a, plain dial. The other major difference you'll notice is the movements and the price tag that comes with these two watches. The one you see here is the standard issue, which Bulova is asking $895 for a Miyota 8 series versus the limited edition, which is going to run you about $1,990, which gives you a Swiss Sellita SW200. Overall, again, after spending some time with this watch, I truly enjoyed it. The vintage aesthetics of it, the vintage vibes, right? That 50 fathoms vibes of the 50s, and obviously that design that is very popular. It really spoke to me. Just experiencing the watch, wearing it, you know, I thought at first when I saw that thickness, it was gonna wear large and huge, but it doesn't. It's such a comfortable piece. The strap this watch comes in, very comfortable one. And truly, I enjoyed wearing this piece. I enjoyed it more than I thought. Now, the good and the bad. The good is obviously, as you look at this, it is a true original design from Bulova. It wears amazing. I mean, you can just see this case back. You can see just how great this piece looks in hand and on the wrist. I love the design language and the risk that Bulova took. I love the moisture indicator. A true, right, one-to-one based on the prototype. That moisture indicator was used, you know, to help divers, right? If their watch was compromised, that strip would change color. And it was a way to notify them that, hey, this watch probably isn't the ideal to go deep diving. And so I love that they brought that design over. That's not something you see very often, especially in today's divers. So such a cool little touch. The other cool aspect of this piece is the bezel. As you guys can see here, you have to press down for the bezel to engage. If not, it locks. And so I thought that was such a cool aspect. Again, another quirk to the piece that makes it so unique. And honestly, I loved it. I thought it was such a cool thing. You know, the fact that you have to press the bezel down, and as you guys can see here, it compresses and then it turns, and it is bi-directional, which I thought, again, was super cool. I have to say my favorite part of this is that ridiculous domed sapphire crystal. I mean, I don't think I've ever handled a piece that has such a large sapphire crystal. And you would think that it would be kind of obnoxious, but it really isn't. And it is kind of cool when you look at it, how it reflects, the distortion. Now, I have to say it was a pain in the rear to video this watch, to take photos for Instagram, because the reflections this domed sapphire crystal gives is just nuts. Now, the bad. The Lume wasn't great, and that is a sore subject, you know, of conversation. That unfortunate Bulova just, you know, when it comes to Lume, they're not the greatest. It's okay, and for a diver, especially vintage inspired and something that we've never seen before, I would wish, especially for the price tag, that they would, you know, go all out and maybe improve on their Lume. The price to movement choice, and that is an issue for me. Personally, I think Bulova's Achilles heel is the high prices versus the inexpensive movements they choose to sometimes put into these watches. For example, a Miyota 8 series you can easily find for half the price. And I think that's always going to be a point of contention for true watch enthusiasts. You know, paying almost $900 for a 8 series Miyota is sometimes a tough pill to swallow. When, you know, personally, I feel like the standard issue should have probably been priced between $400 to $600. And I feel like the limited edition should have been priced at that $800 to maybe $1,000, you know, dollar price point with the Sellita SW200. Again, you know, the price point difference between both and really the minute things that you're getting just doesn't make sense for me. And so I think that for me was, you know, just a little step back. But I love where Bulova is going with this. I love that they're exploring. I love that they're bringing out designs that we haven't seen, and it's bringing something new to the market. And for that, I give Bulova kudos. I think this is such an amazing piece. I truly loved it. It is not perfect, but then again, what watch is? I think Bulova is headed in the right direction, and I think with some minor tweaks and maybe some improvements with future releases, I think Bulova is on the right track to bring out some bangers, some good pieces. Again, just the design language on this piece alone, for me personally, I think it's one of the most underrated releases of this year, one that didn't get much love, and I think it's a bipolar, you either love it or you hate it. But trust me guys, the more you see this piece, the way it wears, you're gonna love it. With that said though guys, check the link down below. If this is a piece that you've been eyeing, this is probably a good time to jump on it. Again, if you've stayed this long, there's a special link down below for you. Check out Mimo. And guys, truly appreciate you. Give me a follow on Instagram at Timeless Sneakers and Watches. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, till next time, peace.